Welcome to the Change Energizer Hot Seat Podcast, the place where leaders are dropped into the hot seat to open up about high-stake wins and reveal the trust X factor behind their triumph. I'm your host, Scott Carly, the Trust Energizer. I believe the confidence people have in the way you show up, your character, and your expertise is the real game changer. When trust is high, people don't just perform, they pull off legendary Super Bowl wins. Today, I'm taking you to Texas A&M for the Texas Tourism Alliance Summer College. It's led by their executive director, Erica Bell, president, Jennifer Rouse, tourism and CEO directors from all over the state come to learn cutting-edge strategies to raise the bar on helping tourists make memories they will never forget. So join me live as I take them through, can I trust you? The silent question every tourist is asking. Now, hang in because you're going to see these go into a live hot seat as we define the 5 signals of trust. You're going to have a great time. Thanks for joining us. Now, Alex Blue was the 2025 Indianapolis 500 race car winner. He is the first Spaniard to have ever won an open wheel American race event. It's a pretty big deal. 2025, last year. And at 240 miles an hour, 200 laps, 133 that he led, when he crossed the finish line, there was one big thing that he wanted to do. He ran to his pit team and he said, "You guys are the ones that helped me win this race." Now, do you know what happens at a pit stop? What happens at a pit stop? Watch any races. They change the tires.
They check
They check the fuel. They fill the fuel. Yeah, what else?
cool it.
Yeah, anything that has to be done. Can you imagine how big those tires are? Those tires are this wide. They're about this tall. They're very heavy. And in 7 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That pit team has run out there, jacked up that car, pulled off 4 wheels, put on 4 wheels, loaded it up with gas, and adjusted the body if it needed to, and it hits the ground and he speeds off. Man, now that is a big deal. And so the first thing that he did is he went and he thanked them for the work that they did to help him win that race. Can my team get me across the finish line first? Now, you may have been saying that too. Today we're going to talk about internal trust with your team. The people you work with in your office, the people you work with as vendors, the people around the area that you're in that have tourist attractions. And we're gonna talk a little bit about trust and learn to calibrate the signals you're sending of trust and the signals you need them to send of trust. So let's just kind of dive into it. Every day in business, whether it's in a boardroom, whether it's in a Texas A&M conference, or whether it's at your hometown, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Beaumont, Tahoka, Lubbock, wherever it is, Stanton, people are silently asking one question: can I trust you? And that question is the foundation of every decision, opportunity, and partnership. Leaders ask it before delegating. I walked over to that table a while ago and I said, I need the most intelligent, highly skilled person who can operate a camera. And she jumped up and said, well, she didn't jump up, she just looked up. And she said, I can do that. And I looked around the table, other people smiled. I trusted that she could do that. Now you think that's no big deal, except that at the last event that I did, and I gave that to somebody that I didn't know, just as I got up to speak, they adjusted the camera and turned it off. And I didn't collect one piece of data from that. So you do have to learn to trust people. But you ask that question, can I trust you? before delegating. You ask your clients, ask it before signing a contract. You know, people walk into your tourist agency, and before they sign up for something, they look up at you, they look at all the stuff that you've just shown them, and they're saying, do I trust you? They do it before committing to a project. You probably got big projects. I hope you have an Indy 500 event, because we're going to be talking about that more this afternoon or later. And the Indy 500 event, you know, and it's a big project. And for you to have people sign up for that, you need to be able to trust them. Investors ask you before backing you, how many of you have local sponsors in your town? Okay, they're looking for signals of trust. They're looking for signals that say, I trust my tourist office and I'm going to invest in you. And you want to make sure you're sending the right signals. A lot of what she said earlier in the last presentation had a lot to do with that as well, giving you some very specific things about it. And then employees ask you, before buying into a project, I mean, have you ever had somebody come into the office, or maybe you're the one who came into the office and said, we got a big project and I need some help. And, you know, this is going to be a lot of work. And in their mind, they're saying, what?
Can I trust?
Can I trust you? So trust is a pretty big deal. So that's a lot of what I want to get across right now. Every person on your team has a credit score on the top of their head, attached to their name. And when you're about to hand them a project, you look at them and you're going to say, can they do this? Are they going to take care of the details? When they come to a meeting and we've got vendors there and sponsors, are they going to light up the room, or are they going to make the room dark? What are they going to do? Do they have all the stuff together and they make the copies and you're asking those questions? And there are some people on your team who have an 850, a 720, a 740, a 780 credit score, and you just know you can count on them. And so you're just not worried about it. How many of you have somebody like that? Please raise your hand. Okay. How many of you have some people and they only have a 620 credit score? Don't look at them. Don't look at them. Yeah. So all that's going on. And today, I want to give us a language to talk about trust and talk about a way that you can pull your team up, at least score them and find out where they stand in the level of trust you can have with them. All right, so let's just do something really quick. At each table, what I'd like for you to do, we're going to spend maybe 5 minutes at this, maybe. I'd like for each of you to go around and just quickly tell us what your Indy 500 event of the year is for your tourist office, your city. So what is it? I'm sure it's not the Pecan Street Festival, but it might be. I don't, it's not the, I don't know, I won't say anymore, I'll leave it at that. I want you to discuss it at the table, and so figure it out and identify it. So I want to give you 3 minutes to do that. On your mark, get set, go. Hopefully you were able to get around most of the table to identify what your Indianapolis 500 or your Super Bowl or whatever it is the big event that, and you might have several, but you identified at least one. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is rate your team about bringing their A game to pull that event off. So there are a lot of people who participate in the Indianapolis 500. By the way, does anybody know where that happens? Maybe. Just checking. There's a lot of people who can participate. You do have to qualify, but only one person gets to win. One team gets to win. So I want you to just say, in the best way that you can with your team sitting around you, where does your team rate in bringing their A game to your top event? Talk about that for a minute. Yeah, surely this is not the first time you've ever post-event sat down with your team and said, what went right, what went wrong? Surely it's not. And that's a really critical thing, because in anything that we do in a project, an event, to come back later and say what went great, what did not go great, gives you a way to correct some things and maybe switch some people around in what their responsibility is, or at least give them some support and some help. So that's called scoring people. And scoring them is a really critical point when you're trying to make great things happen. Now, several years ago, I went through a situation where I completely crashed my trust credit score. And so I had to learn how to rebuild the trust credit score. And it couldn't be on just a gut feeling. I had to figure out some things about it. So I started doing a lot of research, a lot of writing, and putting my thoughts on paper. Eventually, I wrote a book about it. Can I trust you? And one of the things that I discovered was the FICO credit score was a really good model. How many of you are familiar with the FICO credit score? Yeah, if you've gone to buy a car or a house or anything, you get really familiar with it. And when your score is good, then boy, doors open and things happen. You can buy things that you want at a lower interest rate. And it's a big thing that can govern you. It measures the confidence people have, the industry has, in the way you manage your money, your finances, your debt, your cash flow. It measures that. And so I got to thinking about trust. We need some kind of way to score trust. And so I developed the trust credit score. And the trust credit score measures the confidence people have in your vibe, your character, and your expertise, along with some other aspects. And we're going to talk about all of them today. And as a result of it, once you identify things like that, then you can correct them. But if it's an emotional gut feeling and you can't put your finger on it, can't really describe it, you're in trouble. And so today, I want to introduce to you this vocabulary of the trust credit score. And get that in your thinking, get that in your mind, get that in your vocabulary with your team. Because you're already scoring people unconsciously. Have you ever heard this phrase before? Never judge a... That's a lie. You need to throw that out, because the first thing that happens when somebody walks into the room, we look up at them and we score them. We don't judge them, but we score them. If they walk in and they brighten up the room, oh man, we're glad they're here. If they walk out, oh my God, they're here. And it's LA, they are. Yeah, they have a reputation for being late. They're right on time for being late. We score them. We do. So let's just get that out on top of the table and see out in the room. We'll talk about that. But as we score people, then we can work with the situation. There are times when people lose credibility. Now, on your table are these cards. Now, they're green, so if you turn them over, it's amazing. They turn yellow when you turn them over. So turn them over, look at the yellow side. And
I was going to say like yesterday.
I highly recommend that you ask yourself regularly, what's dragging my team down? Because if your team is not operating at a 10 where they can do a 7-second pit stop, then you need to figure that out. And so there are things that drag a team down, and when they do it causes lost credibility. Ghosting. Does anybody know what ghosting is? Yeah. Do you like ghosting?
No.
Have you ever heard this phrase?
Yeah.
That depends on who's from. Have you ever heard this phrase before? No news is good news.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to throw that one out too, because that's not true at all.
Yeah.
When there's no news, do we think optimistically?
No.
Oh, everything's working out great, man. Everything's being delivered. It's on time. The people are there. Products are delivered. People are happy. Is that what we think? No, most of the time we think, oh my God, the email is blocked, or they didn't get my email, or the phone is dead. I don't know what's going on. We get nervous. And if you're ghosting people, you're ghosting your team, you're losing credibility. Your score is going down. So ghosting is a big one. They're all on that card there. Flaking on promises. Ouch. That's a big one. Another one, throwing shade. What does that mean, throwing shade?
Being a little, to look sassy.
Is that sassy? What does your card say throwing shade is?
Starting rumors.
Starting rumors, gossiping, slashing people to a, yeah. This is the truth. You can write this one down. People who talk to you, talk about you.
Story.
And you need to take that home, put it in the bank. That's so true. And once you figure that out, people who gossip with you, people who lie with you, people who cheat with you, cheat on you, lie to you. Just keep that in mind. So, throwing shades is a good idea. Dodging responsibility. How many of you have a team member right now? And when I said that, their face came to your mind and you thought, right?
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay, got a couple of honest people here today. Okay, carve out your imagination, be thinking about. The last one here is playing favorites. Oh, we never do that, do we? Yeah, so all of those things, that erode the trust that you have in somebody. And when that trust is eroded, then it's hard for you to demonstrate your confidence and give them responsibility and provide opportunities. Is that right? All right, so I love this. I think it's in your notes. I've been told everybody hates it. But this is the brain and the way the brain responds. And this is where trust comes from. And I think it's pretty cool. In the amygdala, threat detection and emotional security is measured in the amygdala of the brain. In the insula, gut feelings and authenticity detection is there. In the prefrontal cortex, logic, credibility, and decision making is put together. In the hippocampus, pattern recognition and memory. Did they do this today again? Didn't this happen before? Have they set up a pattern of this? And then in the mirror neuron system, it's social connection and empathy. It's mirroring what's going on. Now, I'm not going to bore you with any more of that. Here's what I'm telling you. Trust is not a soft science. It is a real thing. And since it is a real thing, I just highly recommend that we become intentional with it. So everybody in your team's got a number, a good or bad or ugly number. And so when it is a bad number, something has to change. And so let's say somebody's got a 620 or maybe lower. Then here's the thing that changes trust. And that's your behavior. Your behavior. And when we can become intentional about the behavior where we fracture trust, then we can rebuild trust. Now, somebody said one time, trust is lost in buckets and gained in drops. So if you fracture trust with somebody on your team, they fracture trust with you. You just forgive them and move on, and you just trust them again? Usually not. Usually they have to demonstrate, they have to work, and their behavior has to let you know that they're conscious of that area where they betrayed or fractured your trust. So we're starting a vocabulary about trust and where it came from. And when you rebuild it, trust is restored. Now, Stephen Covey made this statement, and I love it. You can't talk your way out of a problem that you have behaved yourself into. But you can behave yourself back into trust, and often faster than you think. I want that to sink in for just a minute. That's really one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn. And learning to change behavior in certain areas, specific areas of my life, professionally and personally, helped me to rebuild and recalibrate trust with my family and with the business world, and it worked. And it wasn't putting on a sham or a scheme or any of that, because people can see right straight through that over time. But when the behavior changes sincerely, then trust goes back up. You know, this is the 12th year I've spoken at the Texas Travel and Tourism. 12 years. You don't get to come back 12 years in a row unless you have built a level of trust and credibility. Does that make sense? I don't know where you feel like your credibility is, or where you feel like members of your team are. But with the vocabulary that you're learning today, I hope that you can build an A-game, elite, high-trust team that can win Super Bowls at Indianapolis 500 races. Anybody want to do that?
Kelly.
So that's all I'm just trying to talk about. So let me give you the 4 pillars of trust. 4 pillars of trust are: trust needs a common language. And what I mean by that is what we're doing right now. I'm giving you a vocabulary, and I'm going to give you even more details in a little bit, a vocabulary so that when you say, I don't trust you, and somebody says, well, what do you mean you don't trust me? Well, in this area, I don't trust you. Oh, okay. Well, then I know what area to work on. I recommend that you take things like this, and I'm willing to provide some things where you can put the trust credit score in your office with your staff so that they can see it regularly and get the culture of trust and where it comes from built into your team. You know, a lot of companies have core values. You've heard of that, core values. Does any of yours, do y'all have, core values or anything? Could you tell me what they are?
Ours is rise, respect, integrity, service excellence.
Rise, respect, and
Integrity, service, and excellence.
in the service and excellence. Okay, that's great. You know, Trader Joe's, you ever heard of Trader Joe's? Trader Joe's has 7 core values. And if you go to any manager and ask them, what are your 7 core values? They will spit them out for you right then. Because part of what they are trained to do is to have those things top of mind. So when we learn the trust credit score, get it top of mind, we can become a lot more proficient in what we do. All right, number 2, trust can be calibrated. The second thing I want you to learn is that trust can be calibrated. And what I mean by that is we have a score. We have a way to score whether I do or I do not trust you. At the end of this session, we are at the beta of testing our app for the trust credit score. And if there's some of you that want to play with it, then come to me afterwards and I'll show you how to get into it. And you can score somebody right there and it will give you a feedback report. Trust can be calibrated. Trust is a business asset. Oh man, if somebody drives into a city and drives up to your tourist office and when they walk in, you're sending all the right signals and they feel like they trust you, is that valuable? If they don't trust you, what are they going to do? They're going to drive on by, look up on Google. And so if that is a business asset to be sending the right signals of trust and people loving it. And then trust must be managed intentionally. It's not something you can leave to chance. And so constantly, you're going to be in a place, just like your credit score. How many of you don't have to raise your hand on this one. How many of you have taken a hit or two on your FICO credit score and you went, oh my word, woo? Yeah, I did something that seemed really, really, really smart at the time. And then I went completely cash. Everything I paid for, it was cash only. And I did that for about, maybe 5 years. And my daughter was going to law school and she said, Dad, I need a computer from Apple. Would you buy me a computer? I said, oh yeah, man, I'll buy you a computer. And I went down to Apple, filled out my, credit report because I didn't have that much money on hand. I was just going to buy it. And they said, oh no, we turned you down. You turned me down. I don't have any debt. You turned me down. Yeah, well, you don't have any credit.
Yeah.
And it took me 2.5 years to rebuild enough credit to be able to buy a $1,500 computer.
Yeah.
So you have to manage trust intentionally and build opportunities that get people to trust you. Put yourself in the opportunities. Hey, we need somebody to help us out with something. Can I get a hand? I'll help. And that creates you, that puts you into a place where trust can be measured. Isn't that interesting? You're already doing that. You're already doing it. And you might subconsciously say, I'm testing them. I'm testing them to see how valuable they will be to our team and how much pressure I can put on them. I'd like you to think of somebody. I want you to think of somebody that is an MVP. And man, they are the most valuable player on your team. And you really, you want to give them a raise, you want to give them a promotion, and you just need to justify it. I want you to think of somebody like that. Can anybody think of that? Right? Good. Now, I want you to flip on the other side, red. Now, the red side, this is somebody that has fractured trust. And what does the top line say on that one? Something feels shady. Their vibe is out of sync. Something feels shady. I want you to find somebody that feels shady and think about them. Anybody got somebody like that? If you don't, I can introduce you myself. Really shady. Okay. Think about those. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you to the trust credit score. So the first thing that we score is your vibe. And your vibe is how you show up. It could be the way you're dressed. And have you ever looked at people and said, my wife occasionally will say, you're not going to the store in that, are you? But have you looked at people, the way they're dressed, and you say, oh man, that must not own a mirror in their house or something. They just look really terrible. Have you ever seen that? We judge people by their cover. Have you ever met somebody that every time you see them, they look sharp. They don't have to be, the 9s, but they're 10s, whatever, but they look pretty sharp. People do. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to share with us what you have learned in the last few minutes about your vibe on the trust credit score, and maybe tell us a little bit about it. With every table is going to get to come up for at least one of these. So who would like to be the first person to come up here and tell us, sit in the hot seat and tell us about vibe and what you learned? Come on down, right?
Come on down.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Scott Carly with the Change Energizer Hot Seat Podcast. And we have Aaron with us today. Aaron, have a seat.
Hey, go Aaron.
From Visit Brandon, I have to just make the shout out.
Visit Brandon, Texas. That's a great place.
It's really cool. You talking about Texas Independence Day. It happened in Brenham, happened in Washington, Nebraska.
Come on, that's right. A lot of great Texas history. Okay, so what did you learn today about your vibe as being one of the 5 signals of trust?
So one of the big things was looking nice takes a little effort. Then that effort shows that you do care, and that mentality that you care not only about your appearance, but the appearance of your staff, your building, the community. That effort transfers into other things. Additionally, like body language and your attitude is also something that not only affects you, but also your entire team. And one of our table mates made the comment that their boss had come in every day and just looked like this, was just tired of the world every day, 8 o'clock meeting. And it was like, oh, well, they're going to start the day on the wrong foot every single day. And it was telling for the rest of their their team, who was then starting to get frustrated, having to deal with it. I made the comment that one of my part-time staff wears the exact same polo shirt every single day. It's this light blue polo shirt. And he said it, they were giving them away at this event, so he has a bunch of them. And it's like, but that's something that you really do have to build up some trust, that I believe that you're not just wearing the same shirt every day because you don't want to do laundry or you only have the one shirt. And then we talked about what it takes to just look nice, outward appearance. So fun fact, I got a haircut yesterday, and then my wife was like, you need to shave your beard off too. I was looking a little crazy. I'm trying to do bald with a beard. I'm trying. She's not ready for it yet. It's in. Did you see how good he looked? Bald with a beard is in. But I'm wearing the $40 Amazon Essentials fit today. The shirt, Amazon Essentials, pants, Amazon Essentials shoes, Amazon Essentials. So it takes, cost really isn't a barrier anymore today to looking nice. You just have to take the effort to buy it and then pick it out every day. And I have zero style or fashion sense, but I'm obsessed with looking good, which throws me like light brown shoes, dark brown belt. Oh God, it's a travesty, guys. Don't judge me, please. Don't let this hurt my trust with you.
Okay, one more thing, one more comment, then we gotta go on.
No, I'll end it there.
All right, let's give him a hand. Thank you very much. You know, it's just as important. I want this vocabulary to get in your head and in your heart and in your brain so that you understand where trust comes from and your appearance, your vibe, the way you look, the presence that you bring into the room, the chemistry that you have with other people around you. Stuff is real, and people are scoring you based on your vibe. So just be intentional about it and what you can do with it. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is your intentions and motives. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you volunteered.
Oh, well, I'm good. I have to move on. You're going to get to volunteer for this one. So that's what I'm saying. We're going to go through all five, and I want a different one from each table to come up, or each table. One. So your motives and intentions. Well, you're scored on your intentions. You're scored on your motives. What are they up to? And that comes from a part of your brain that is measured at. Are your intentions genuine or self-serving? You know, in the sales world, they have a thing called commission breath. You ever heard that before? Commission breath. And it's because salesmen, when they come in, they do not care about what you need. They care about making a sale because they got a manager barking down their shoulder and they need to make a sale. And anytime they start talking, you're smelling that commission breath because you know their intentions are not good. So intentions are a really big part of the signals that people read from us. Okay, all right. I need a volunteer. And the back table has volunteered, right? Okay, so are you going to come up and sit in the hot seat, or are all of you coming up? Is it a team project?
You can find that too.
Okay, well, come on down. Woo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Change Energizer Hot Seat Podcast. And we have two people coming down to talk to us about your intentions and motives. What's your name?
Candace.
Candace and Ryan. Nice to meet y'all. Thank you very much. So now I want you to tell us, what did you learn today about the second signal of trust, motives and intentions?
Well, we kind of talked about how really important it was because that they go to us. Me in particular, I had no boss who was very, very capable. Never look at the guy and think he couldn't handle something, you wouldn't trust him not to know what he was doing and have that experience. But there was just something off with personality, with the body, with the shady feeling. So while he was very put together, he was very good looking, he was always dressed nice, he was, kind of what you talked about before, and clients would always see that and think, yeah, this guy's, we love him, he's great, he's always outgoing, he's talkative. Internally, I would have that feeling of you're too well put together, you feel like you're manipulated, feel like you've got that car salesman slimy vibe to you. Yes,
Something's
people
off.
who are meeting you once in a nice setting, that's great, that works well. Over time, when you're inside of it, you just get that feeling of like, well, you know what you're doing, and I trust you, but I also don't like you, don't enjoy being around you. So I think you have to have that balance.
Yeah, there was some signal that was coming to him in his brain, and he was calibrating that. There's something I don't trust. There's an intention or a motive, and over time, those things will come out, and you'll discover what they are. So, good point. All right, kids, what about you?
Something else I want to add to that is also kind of like the sly comments here and there, and it was just a joke, that sort of thing. And those sorts of statements, enough of those, one, here and there, you first meet someone, you're learning their sense of humor, that sort of thing. But after a while, that can, erode trust, and you start wondering, what does this person really think? What is their attitude, and what they really think about, me or someone else. Also, with the I had a supervisor that made a lot of changes that was just like, and the way he kind of went about it was like, oh, well, who's responsible for this over here? Oh, okay, well, we're going to change that because, I would prefer it be this way over here. And it's kind of like, so you're saying you're under the surface, you're saying you don't like my work, essentially. And we didn't fully discuss that, but that's just something that just came up to us.
So that's called transparency. Somebody's
Yeah.
not being transparent,
Yeah.
not being open and honest about a conversation. And so does that erode trust or does it accelerate trust? Erodes trust. That's exactly right. Sometimes it's very difficult to have conversations, but it's really important to be able to have it. And there's some ways that you can frame them. We'll talk about that. Anything else?
That's it. That's it.
Okay, let's give them a round of applause. Now here's something that I would invite you to do. The trust credit score is based on numbers. And if you look on the fine print that's in 11 font, it will tell you your score on 1 to 10. 1 means you don't trust them at all. 10 means they can walk on water. All right, so as you're going through this, please score these people. Because it's not that you trust them or you don't trust them. There is a range in which you trust them. And eventually you're going to tally all that up, divide it by 5, and you'll have their overall trust credit score. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is your values and integrity. Core values, your integrity. What's the word integrity mean?
If you say you're not done, say
You do what you say you're going to do. It means that it's the real thing. Gold, 99.999 gold is the highest integrity. And so we're looking for that. Integrity, are you predictable, principled, and aligned with what you claim? Our brain is looking for that. We're looking to see that you have integrity and that you have good core values. I can work with somebody for a short time if we don't share the same values. But long term, we're not going to work together. Because eventually, your values and my values are going to clash. You're going to ask me to do something I couldn't do. And so, long-term relationship, we need to find people, or we need to address the issue about core values and integrity. So that's what I'd like for you to do at your table now. Talk about core values and integrity and how that is one of the signals, the third signal of trust. All right, welcome her to the Change Energizer. Yeah, you gotta touch that. That's hot. Can you see the sweat breaking out of her brow? Because her values, her integrity are being challenged, showcased right now. So tell me, what did you learn about values and integrity and the signals?
We were talking about how, like in the workplace in particular, it's really frustrating. I said how if a parent hate the work, then someone who's a hypocrite, like with management or leadership, like they'll say we expect our employees to go out and live these values and do X, Y, Z, but they don't even follow them themselves. So it's kind of hard to look up to leadership and want to follow in their footsteps when they don't even set necessarily the right example in the first place. So that's already a lack of trust there. And then
We have a saying for that. I'm from Texas. We have a saying for that. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Go ahead.
Scott, that was good. Okay. And then we were saying how there were other people where the main part of their business is hiring vendors, like your event planning. And if you have vendors that show up late, not on time, or like they're canceling in front of customers and acting like they don't care, that's also a reflection on you, the person who hired them, or what they represent either at that event or in that specific venue. And so that's not going to make you want to necessarily hire them again, because they not only misrepresented themselves, but you as the person and your company as a whole. So that creates a lack of trust. And then just in general, it could be anything. If you're hiring a contractor to do something to fix your AC or the cracks on your whatever, home and they don't follow through and it looks like crap, you're like, you may hire someone, it's on the expectation that of good faith and goodwill, and you are going to show up and deliver on what you expect them to purchase from them, their service. So they don't follow through. It's like, not going to hire you again.
That's really great. So we just built a house a couple of years ago up in Liberty Hill, and so my office is my small garage. It's got a teak wood floor. It's all dressed up nice. But we put a mini split in. You know what a mini split is? It's an air conditioning system for just my office. It's great. But it has leaked out. The Freon's come out a couple of times. And so I called the guy and I said, hey, I need you to come back and take a look because it's starting to get hot again. And he came out and he worked on it. Well, he said, by the way, I'm not with that company. I'm on my own now. And he said, usually to come out, it's $110 plus the refrigerant, whatever. And so I said, come on, I have a lot of trust in you because you installed it. I know you. So he did. He came out, worked on it. He said, yeah, there's a leak up here. He said, but I've got something. He said, I'm the one that repaired that leak. And it leaked on you. And you're having to call me back out, but I've got something that is much better. And so I'm going to fix it. He still hasn't sent me an invoice. Do you think that I believe in his integrity or not? I believe in his integrity because he felt like he didn't fix that correctly. So that service charge he didn't charge me for because he is the one that made that mistake. To me, that's a highest level of integrity. Now I'm going to call him. His name's Shane. I'm going to say, Shane, I need an invoice because I'm going to pay him because I have integrity. I don't want to get hard work for free. I want there to be a win-win. Does that make sense? We're scoring. Conscious or unconscious, we're scoring and being scored. Thank you very much. Let's give it a hand. And I keep saying this is a podcast because I want you to go to the Change Energizer podcast, Scott Carly, and it's on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, YouTube, and subscribe. Let's all say subscribe.
Subscribe!
Yeah, I'm trying to get over 100, so subscribe. Well, thank you. Let's go to the next one. Your expertise and skill set. Oh man, this is a big one in my opinion about the way people score you. Your expertise. You know, in the trades, they have apprentice, they have novice, apprentice, journeyman, and master. So it's not one or the other. It's a level. And you need to figure out your team. You look around the team and you can either put a number over them or you can say this is an apprentice, a journeyman, or a master. And a master needs to be a master, walk on water expert about what they do. Don't give people a 10 unless they are a 10. But score somebody. The thing that we have here is, can I trust you as a vetted expert? Okay, you know, something goes wrong with my phone or my service goes down. We have a media thing in our house, and it has been a nightmare. And I've had to call those people out 15 times in 18 months to fix it. And you know what they did? They came out every time. And they finally discovered two things that were the major hiccups, and they fixed them. And now it works great. So I have, you know, their trust was going down because it wasn't working regularly. And when they kept on until they finally fixed it, now I have the highest level of trust for them because they didn't ignore the problem. So talk among yourselves about expertise, skill set, or lack of it. I'm going to be, I'm going to get you out of here on time. So we're going to merge the last one, and they really go together, expertise and track record. There are seeds and track record.
Yeah.
Did you get it done? Can you move the needle? Can you make things happen? Or not? And what we learned from that is, do I have evidence and patterns proving I can trust you? So it is a track record with your expertise or lack of expertise. So talk about that for a few minutes, and then I need a table who's going to come down here and do the last hot seat until we come back after a break. All right.
learning.
This is going to be function, sir.
That's the
So it's very
Hello there.
requirement for some size.
how about having you?
Why don't you come on down, whoever it is, come on down.
You're gonna have too long.
I mean,
And
somebody
ladies
is
and gentlemen, let's bring it on. We got two topics to talk about, and that is your expertise and your track record. And you have 2.5 minutes to tell us about your track record and your expertise, those two areas. What did you learn today about those two signals?
Track record. I was like, no. Okay, so for track record, the biggest thing is your loyalty. So in order for me to trust you, you have to be loyal. You have to make sure that you're doing what you're saying you're gonna do. That you're bringing the receipts. We all have our receipts, right? So we're making sure that we're just on point. We're making sure that we're doing what we're saying that we're gonna do. Do you guys have any
And what about expertise?
Okay.
Now tell us about expertise.
So expertise, we're all experts in what we do. Everybody's an expert until you're not, right? So if you don't know how to do something, if you don't know how to be, okay, I'm gonna continue to do this, but I don't know how to be that expert in it, it's easy to ask anyone. It's easy to say, I don't know how to do this. I need help. Can you help me? And that's how we build, that's how we grow, that's how we move to the next level. So a lot of us in our work spaces, we do have individuals that are not experts. And I think that we need to look at that and just have that conversation with them and start building and growing with them. And we can even be, peers, peer-to-peer, manager to peer, to knowledge to employee. So
In the trades, a really cool thing that they set up is when you hire on as an apprentice, you have to be an apprentice for so many years and you have to cover so much material. You graduate to a journeyman. You have to be a journeyman for so many years, not weeks or months. And you have to complete a lot of information. Then you become a master. To maintain your master, you have to go back for ongoing training. So think about those things and bring them into your tourism department. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Change Energizer Hot Seat. And I don't know how much you enjoyed this, but we're taking this to local companies and conferences around town. If your company would like to bring me in to do a hot seat episode, just like we're doing right now, bring one of your key leaders, putting them on the hot seat and asking them 7 or 8 questions about, can I trust you? And let them vet and showcase why they are trustworthy, then give me a call. Reach out to the Change Energizer. You can find me at scottcarly.com, and let's get into your company and let's really raise the roof, raise the temperature a little bit with a Trust Energizer Hot Seat.